Joel Goldberg down on the field, and I got to say that with some of that rain that has happened, the field is good, and the warning track is not sloppy at all. They only got about a quarter an inch of rain, so steady but nothing too heavy this afternoon. Here, guys, now is the concern is that there are more storms in the area, and they are breaking up and weakening. If that continues to happen, we shouldn't have any issues this afternoon. Royals taking the field right now behind me. But if those storms don't continue to weaken, as it was just pointed out to me, we're going to dance around some rain all afternoon. So going to try to play through this. I don't think it's going to be awful, but we're not completely in the clear yet. They've got a window. They're going to try to get it in. And first pitch as Edison Volquez has taken the hill, guys, coming up in just a matter of moments.
All right, Joel, thank you. And Volquez is facing the Indians for the first time this year. He did not face them last year either, pitching in the National League with the Pirates. And very few hitters in the lineup have seen Edison Volquez, so we hope that gives him an advantage. Jason Kipnis, Carlos Santana, and Michael Brantley coming up in the top of the first inning as we take a look at the Royals defensively, presented by Ford.
We all know they can go get them, that's for sure, but they also possess nice, strong, accurate throwing arms. That's right. Dyson, he's been getting used to playing right field more this year for Ned Yost. He has the arm to play out there.
Lorenzo Cain had 2 defensive runs saved last night. So the Royals continue to lead in that category as a team, and now Lorenzo Cain as an individual has the most defensive runs saved at +10. And he had an impact right away. Top of the first inning last night, throwing out a runner at the plate. We just received word that Kelvin Herrera, who had consecutive suspensions to deal with, a 5-game suspension after the incident with Oakland, a 2-game suspension after the incident with Chicago. So you combine them, that's 7, but the league just announced that has been reduced to 6, and he will begin serving those suspensions today. It also happens to be the same day that Luke Hochevar is called up from AAA Omaha, and Brandon Finnegan was optioned back to the minor leagues.
Imagine that coincidence. It's all planned out strategically by Ned Yost and Dayton Moore, who have really done very little wrong.
Jason Kipnis has 5 RBIs against the Royals this year. And the first pitch swung on and grounded back to Volquez. So a delay of 2 hours and 17 minutes. And after that, 1 pitch and 1 out.
Well, that'll help conserve his pitch count, and that's going to be really important today. After the day after Duffy only went just 1+ innings, bullpen was used. So whenever the next day's starter for your team that happens to, you're hoping that you can eat up at least 6 or 7 innings and go as deep in the game as you can. And the modern game today, pitch count is a big factor. Volquez has some really nice pitches. He's got 4. 2-seam running fastball. A 4-seamer there at 95. The 2-seamer's about 92, 93. It moves down. Got a nice curveball, and his changeup has been an exceptional pitch, especially against left-handed batters this season. I mentioned before, left-handers are only hitting 176 so far this year, and the only home run Volquez has given up was to a lefty. So it's that changeup that goes away from those bats that gets the guys to pop up that's been working for him.
Two and 1 against Santana. He had just been moved to the number 2 spot before this series began, as Terry Francona was trying to shake up his offense in some way to get some runs. So the debate is, when you have a guy that can get on base and he can drive in runs, when you're struggling, what's more important, getting guys on base or getting guys in position where they can drive in runs?
Well, first things first, got to get them on base.
And Santana, who leads the league in walks, moved up to the number 2 position.
You know, Terry Francona's tribe, they averaged 5.9 runs in the last 12 games, which has been really good, after scoring just 3.1 in the first 14. So they had to make some adjustments. So recently, the adjustments have worked for him, at least in the last 12 games. Heck, ask any manager if you can give him 5 runs a game, what he can do with that, with any kind of pitching.
Somehow he laid off that pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's the pitch there. Volquez shaking his head. See how he's gripping that ball in his glove. Back 3 fingers. With the same arm motion as a fastball, the results are less miles per hour.
Santana in this series has been on base 3 times and scored 3 runs. Got him with a fastball at 95. 2 down. So Corey Kluber was the Cy Young winner last year for his entire American League season, and now Toyota shows us our league leaders. If the Cy Young voting in the National League started on June the 23rd, Edison Volquez may have won it. These are the best ERAs from that point until now, and Edison Volquez, who was second to Clayton Kershaw for most of this year, now has a better ERA over that time span. Ball 1 to Michael Brantley.
This guy can hit that 346 batting average. That's 6th in the American League. Uses the whole field.
That ball's hit deep into the right field corner, but hooking and foul. Pretty impressive distance.
Nice easy swing sometimes will produce that if you meet it just right.
Little higher with the fastball. 2-1. Volquez was strong his last time out. That was Saturday against the Tigers, but not as strong as David Price, who gave up 1 run in 9 innings, and Volquez took the loss in a 2-1 game. Had a good line, 6 innings, just a couple of earned runs allowed.
One thing you'll have to keep an eye on today with Volquez is his tempo. In that game, when guys got on base, he really slowed the game down. And you know, sometimes the pitcher does that and he doesn't really think about it, but you got to keep in mind the defenders that are out there. And speaking of defenders, the Royals have the best defense going. So you want to keep those guys in the game by keeping that tempo right.
Still 3-2. Corey Kluber waiting his turn and hoping for his first win of the year, and this is his 7th start. For Volquez, with the suspension, this is his 6th start. Now to Moustakas at third, and Brantley is out. So after the long delay, Edison Volquez gets the Indians 3 up and 3 down. Series over the Indians. There's the State Farm lineup for KC today. Alcides Escobar not quite ready to come back from the 7-day disabled list, so Alex Gordon will continue to lead off. And Christian Colon will play at short. Against Corey Kluber, making his 7th start. And in each of his last 3 starts, he has allowed 8 or more hits and 5 or more runs.
Same stuff, just not good location. Any pitcher or hitter will tell you if the pitcher can't locate that ball where he wants it up here at this level, it gets hit. And that's what's happening with Kluber. Kluber's got some nice pitches. Fastball. That's his 2-seamer right there. That's a 2-seamer. He'll sink his fastball, cutter, slider, curve, change. He's got a few different pitches that he can sample these guys. But what's hurting him is early in counts, hitters are driving the ball on him. So what Kluber's going to do is what he did just there. Early in the count, he's going to mix up some changeups, keep some guys honest. Because the opponents are hitting 448 on the first pitch and 545 on 0-1, so they're really raking him early. Watch for him to try to trick him early. Got him.
Nicked him.
Seventh time this year. Alex, he'll take this. I don't even think it's going to bruise him. Not perfect. Just got a little bit of that jersey. Best way to get hit by a pitch. Now we showed you our outfield. We're going to show you theirs. They got a few guys that have some good arms as well. Brantley played center field last night. Bourne was riding the pine for 9, and Moss has a pretty good arm in right.
And now inside to Mike Moustakas.
Although Michael Bourne did not ride the pine for 9. He got in there to play some defense late in the game.
Mike Moustakas has had a good season overall against the Indians. He had 8 hits in the 3-game series in Cleveland during the last road trip. But in this series, they pitched him a little better, just 1 for 7.
Well, doesn't matter. This guy's confident, and especially against Kluber. He's got some good numbers. That's about it as far as his move to first base on Kluber. He'll vary his hold time. That means he'll hold the ball longer than others. There he is. Those are his numbers. Lefties have gotten to him a little bit more for an average.
Past Santana and into right field, and the lefty has gotten to him again. And now here comes Alex around third to score.
Mike Jerkley, second full season in the major leagues as a third base coach for the Royals. That is all him. Alex Gordon coming around second base. He can't see right field, but the third base coach can. That's exactly what the coach is for. He's going to continue to pinwheel him around. Moose turns on that heater inside. The little bobble here by Moss. And Jersh just kept him coming. Moss just trying to hit the cutoff man. Wasn't even thinking he would score him. Look at that. Gotta love that action. That's Royals baseball.
So it's a single. No RBI in there on Moss to allow Gordon to score.
Give the RBI to that guy right there. Let it go, Jersh.
Outside to Lorenzo Cain, back from his 2-game suspension last night, and was 1 for 4. scored a couple of runs, had a triple, and also had an outfield assist.
Slight pull on the infield. Slight pull. Outfield a little bit to the opposite field.
And that's past Kipnis. So the first 3 have reached. 2 on, nobody out. So we just showed you that left-handers last year against Kluber had very little success. They hit .244, but this year is entirely different as they're hitting .333 against Corey Kluber, and looks like he has made too many mistakes in the middle of the plate.
That's what it is. Whether it's mechanics or what, he's missing. And he's owning that. He's wearing it. He's saying, okay, look, I have to make my pitches. I've got to start getting down in the zone. And you can see that middle part there where it's all red. That's where hitters live. Hosmer, look for him to drive the ball to the opposite field. Now, Kluber might try to pitch him in to tie him up. Because they don't want this big fella's arms to get extended. So when he gets that ball out over the plate, man, he can drive it. We've seen him. There's not a ballpark in America that can contain him. Including the Grand Canyon National Park.
Two and 0.
Reason why Hosmer's thinking middle of the field is keeps him from wanting to roll that top hand over and hit it to Kipnis. He doesn't want to roll over on anything Kluber's going to throw him. When you stay inside the ball, it keeps you away from that double play most of the time. Royals, they know how to get them hits when they count. Believe it. Stats don't lie. 311.
Golfed into deep center field and gone. A rocket. And Eric Hosmer has hit a 3-run home run to make it 4-0 KC.
Did I include Yellowstone? There's not a park in America that can hold this guy in. Staying inside the baseball, trying to drive the ball to the large part of the field is exactly what Hosmer did there. Kluber trying to get it in, and imagine that. That's been the hot spot right there. It just can't. You can't get hitters out consistently there, especially that guy. Look at that long stride. Arms got extended. Just what Kluber didn't want to do. Hosmer playing ping pong off the center field wall here at the K.
I mean, let's be honest, that ball should not go over the center field wall, right? I mean, that pitch, that should be a single to center field, maybe a double over the center fielder's head, but the extension and the carry. And center field at Kauffman Stadium is a long drive, even if you get a pitch up, but to hit that pitch, I mean, that was like a 2-iron.
He's a monster. Look at that. He believes every day in batting practice he does nothing but hit balls to center field. So he practices. So when a game comes, his eyes will tell his hands what to do with the ball. It's just repetition. It's practice.
Eric Hosmer already has 11 RBIs against the Indians this year. Still nobody out. And now Morales hits it into left center. And Brantley glides over from left to make the play. I'll bet if you ask Corey Kluber and his catcher Roberto Perez, we put this pitch in this location to Eric Hosmer. I mean, it's not a great pitch, don't get me wrong, but it's down, and he hits it over one of the deepest center fields in the American League.
And he knew he squared it up. He just wasn't sure if it was going to get high enough, because that thing, you could hang 3 weeks worth of Goldberg's laundry on that one. That was a real liner. A blue darter out of the yard.
0-2 on Sal. Still 0-2. So again, it's the left-hand batters. Kluber hits Alex Gordon. Mike Moustakas gets a single, and Eric Hosmer hits a 3-run home run.
So you want to keep a guy like this down. That's exactly what you do in the first inning. You greet him with some well-placed singles, and then your number 4 hitter does exactly like you want him to do. But you know, a line drive base hit up the middle by Hosmer would have been fine. But he took that ball down low and just said, nah, we need more.
Kluber gets his first strikeout. And now 2 down after the first 4 reach to Omar Infante. Hitless so far in the series. Sliders in for strike 1. On the ground to Chisenhall at third. And that's the inning. The Royals gave Kluber a bad time in Cleveland on May the 2nd, scoring 5 runs. 6 runs make that, and now they It's our annual Salute to the Negro Leagues and Dress to the Nines event. This year's event will be on Sunday, May 17th, when the Royals host the New York Yankees. And we hope that you will show up dressed in your Sunday best and get to Kauffman Stadium early, because the first 10,000 fans will receive a Monarchs Newsboy hat courtesy of KSHB. And also a portion of the tickets will benefit the Negro League Baseball Museum. So again, that is Sunday, May 17th. Salute to the Negro Leagues and Dress to the Nines. That's the Royals and the Yankees. Royals set up perfectly on defense for Brandon Moss, who grounds out to Omar Infante in shallow right field. One down in the second inning. Lorenzo Cain singled and scored in the Royals' 4-run first inning. He is our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
If that throw is on the first base side, Salvi can't reach and tag him. It's really important to get off a good throw, sure, but you got to make sure it's on that third base side of the plate. Excellent job.
One away to Lonnie Chisenhall. One ball, one strike.
Volquez knows what to do to keep the momentum in his dugout. Try to get him 1, 2, 3.
Late on the fastball, 1 and 2 on Chisenhall. Volquez got the Indians in that fashion. 1, 2, 3 in the first inning.
Chisenhall, he's one of the 3 hitters in the Tribe lineup that hasn't faced him before. So when that happens, you're always asking questions. You're talking to hitters who faced him before the game. Talking to the hitting coach, watching film, trying to study up.
That pitch stayed up, and Chisenhall strokes it to the gap. And Dyson will have to play it off the wall, and Chisenhall is going to try for 3. And he is in sliding. Royals did a good job of getting it back to the infield, just a little late. Well, Lonnie Chisenhall has his first triple, and the Indians have a runner at third base with 1 out.
Perfect tweener. Ball's up. Chisenhall said, you know what? I studied this. I knew that he was going to give me a ball up, and he did. Gets to the wall, and you hit one that's you don't really square it up with solid contact, but it's slow enough to get to the wall there. You're going to get a triple almost every time, even for those who aren't really fleet of foot.
And now David Murphy.
Murphy knows what he wants to do here. Just make some contact and get the Cleveland Indians on the board. Unless you hit it to third base. Hosmer's back. Infante, Colon, they're all back. Murphy wants to make a little contact. Keep it away from the pitcher or the third baseman here, if you can.
Grounds it to Hosmer. And race to the base. Volquez there in time, so the Indians get a run. Chisenhall's triple makes it a 4-1 game, as David Murphy drives in his 3rd run of the year.
Volquez a little late getting over there, getting started. Didn't take the exact angle he wanted to the base, but they were able to get the out.
Two down to Michael Bourne, who starts in a game in this series for the first time. We're talking about the Indians lineup shakeup last inning, and that included Michael Bourne not starting against lefties. A few years ago, the Indians spent a lot of money to get Michael Bourne to sign with them and play center field and lead off against righties and lefties. But batting just .191, and right now Terry Francona wants him to focus only on right-hand pitching.
First things first. He's hoping to get the veteran hot and then get him back in there on a regular basis. And really, that's all you can do if you're Francona. Him, you know, Bourne, Swisher, a couple of guys on his team, you know, they got a lot of money invested in them, and they haven't gotten off to really good starts, and so you just have to be patient with them. Instill confidence. That's all you can do, and Francona, he's really good at that. makes you feel really special and keeps encouraging and talking about the positive things that you can do for the team and that you will do.
And now Bourne walks with 2 down. So a little longer inning than the Royals had hoped for after scoring 4 runs in the bottom of the first. Salvador Perez goes out to have a quick chat with Volquez before he tangles with Roberto Perez.
Sometimes when the pitcher has to cover first base, it kind of gets him out of his rhythm and out of his game, gets him breathing a little bit heavy. Maybe that's what happened there. He just didn't quite have the command he wanted on Bourne, but right here wants to rebound.
Interesting you brought that up, Hud, because 2 years ago when Tyler Flowers took over as the White Sox everyday catcher when A.J. Pierzynski left, and I heard an interview with Tyler Flowers and they were discussing with him about the impact that Pierzynski had on him, and the question just out of the blue, what's something unique that you learned from A.J. Pierzynski? And Tyler Flowers thought about it for a second and he said, AJ taught me that when the pitcher has to go over and cover first on a ground ball, go out to the mound and talk to him for that very reason you were talking about, that their heart rate is up and the adrenaline may convince them that it's okay for them to pitch with an elevated heart rate, but just go out there and let him catch his breath. Just give him a few seconds.
It's a great idea. Salvi went out, but not till after he walked Bourne. And every pitcher is different. Salvador Perez is getting used to Volquez. See how Salvi just smoothed the dirt? He did that in case a ball hops there, short hops him with a runner on and he takes off. He wants that ball to bounce up right into his glove. There was one right there. He knew what pitch was coming. He knew that the possibility of that bouncing was going to be real. And watch what he does. Watch him shift his feet. He turns his glove over, but he's also able to get his body in back. And had Bourne taken off on that, he would have been out.
Three and one.
Volquez pitching behind, throwing his off speed. Might want to just go out after these guys, challenge them here, make them hit that fastball. Still early in the game. Want to establish that pitch.
Now Bourne runs, and that is ball 4. Back-to-back walks with 2 down. That's a category we've talked a lot about in regard to Edison Volquez and the years leading up to his best season last season with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Lowest ERA of his big league career, and coincidentally, probably not, also the lowest walks per 9 innings for Edison Volquez. A run home, runners at first and second, and 2 down to Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is off to a slow start. And this is his first game of this series, starting at short. Micah Vilas was the Indian shortstop in the first 2 games. In the air to left center. Kane will take charge and make the play. So the Royals get 4 in the first. The Indians bounce back with 1 in the top of the second.
Royals lead the Indians. Our Mazda game break takes a look back to last night. Recognize that guy? That's Johnny Giavotella with the walk-off double, and the Angels beat the Mariners 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth. Back-to-back nights that they had walk-offs, and it was Johnny G who was batting .286 for the Angels, playing the role of hero last night.
Good for him.
Absolutely. There was a lot of quote-unquote experts that said Johnny just wasn't quite good enough defensively, not quite enough with the stick. I don't think he can be an everyday player. And look, he never gave up on himself.
That bobble cost Kipnis. He had to rush his throw, and Dyson will be safe. And that's the second error committed by the Indians in 2 innings.
Speed puts a little pressure on the defenders. There's no question about that. But for Corey Kluber, who gave up 4 in the first, this is not good for him. Probably would have gotten him on the rebound there with his throw, but he rushed it because he knew Dyson was running.
You know, another thing about Johnny Giavotella, Howie Kendrick gets traded over to the Dodgers, and the Angels had an opening at second base. Now, they had a couple of guys that they thought it would be a battle really between 2, even though 4 or 5 guys had a shot. Colon drops down a good bunt. Santana will run to the line to tag him out. So the sacrifice gets Dyson to second. So Giavotella was one of those fringe guys in that competition for second base. He was a non-roster invitee, so he was there on a minor league contract, and now on a team that won 98 games last year. He's their starting second baseman. That's great.
Can't be happier for him and his family. They've all been following him. We're proud of him. Christian Colon, not easy to do what he just did, to bunt a mid-90s fastball and to bunt it where you want it. That was really good technique.
Good pitch over the inside to Alex. That's Ramirez, the shortstop, over on the right side of second base, trying to keep Dyson as close as possible. Alex flips it the other way, but foul, and it's 0-2. Alex was hit by a pitch. He was down in the count against Kluber. Nicked him on his jersey just above his belt. And he scored after Mike Moustakas singled to right. Brandon Moss bobbled a ball in right field, and Alex, running hard the whole way, ended up scoring from first base. Now Dyson runs. Swing and a miss. Stolen base. So Gordon strikes out. But Dyson swipes third, 2 down.
Yep, just because Ramirez was the shortstop was holding Dyson close there, you see him sneaking in, doesn't mean that Dyson's not going to go. This guy, he really loves to run. If he can get a jump, he will. Unfortunately, it was with 2 strikes on Alex Gordon, and sometimes that'll distract the hitter whenever a guy takes off. I remember when I was playing with the Angels and I hit ahead of Tim Salmon, and I'd be at second base and I'd be bouncing around out there, and he would tell me when I got in the dugout, hey, would you just be quiet out there? Would you just stop the body work, because it's a distraction. It's distracting me. I'm trying to focus on the hitter. And he goes, and don't steal a base with 2 outs either. I went, okay, Fish.
Moustakas singled and scored in the first inning. Royals lead the major leagues with 59 2-out RBIs. Hard slider in on him, and it's 2-1. Royals have done many things well with 2 outs, leading all of baseball, batting .303 with 2 outs, leading the majors with runners in scoring position with 2 outs at .322, and then those 59 RBIs. 3-1.
Kluber, after giving up 4 runs to the Royals in the first inning, just does not look confident with his body language. He doesn't look like he did last year. Last year he was putting on a rock concert, getting the ball fired in there. Nice take. That right there is a confident take. Moose has been raking out of that number 2 hole. And look, he didn't flinch one bit. He knew that was 2 inches on the inner half of the plate. I call that a confident take.
So if he had decided in his mind, okay, 3-1, I'm going to get a pitch to hit here, and you start swinging before you even see where the pitch is, that's a cracked bat and a little roller to the right side.
Believe it.
First and third, 2 down to Lorenzo Cain.
Be interesting to see a delay steal, or even if Moose takes off with 2 outs here with Dyson at third base. Moose stops halfway, let him get in a rundown, and with Dyson's speed they could steal a run. But get the number 3 hitters hitting and your number 4 hitters coming up. Usually a manager will think about something like that when you're down 7, 8, 9 hitters are coming up.
Yeah, that's a heck of an idea unless it doesn't work.
Right. With those guys coming up.
You got Cain and Hosmer coming up.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here watching them thinking, because I know Moose and Rusty Kuntz, the first base coach, have been working on that delay steal, and I see Dyson down here and he's so fast.
And Moustakas takes off. It's grounded back to Kluber. And that's the inning. The Royals leave 2 on base. And at the end of 2, the Royals lead Kluber and the Indians 4-1. MLB All-Star voting has begun, and there are many deserving Royals, so be sure to go to Royals.com/vote right now to cast your selections. This year, all voting is online, and you can vote up to 35 times on the exclusive Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. So make sure Ned Yost has multiple Royals on his squad by voting today at Royals.com/vote.
Well, hoping for Royals players out there for sure, but you know that Ned Yost, being the manager of the American League All-Stars, he'll have all of his coaching staff with him. Dave Island will be an All-Star coach. Jershel, Rusty Kuntz, Wakamatsu. They'll all be going to Cincinnati. Dave Island was a Reds fan growing up too. I think he'll be pumped about going there. Of course, they all will.
One and two on Jason Kipnis. Dave Island was born in Florida. So the Cincinnati connection, he must have been close to Plant City, where the Reds had spring training for a long time. Kipnis strikes out, and for Volquez, that's his second. One down in the third inning.
Threw a little wrinkle up and away on it, fooled him. You can see how that front foot stepped out in front. His hands couldn't catch it.
Now the overshift to the right against Carlos Santana. He was Volquez's first strikeout victim in the first inning. Colon, Infante, and Hosmer over on the right side. Mike Moustakas all by himself on the left side. Now Ned Yost will shift Moustakas over to the right side. But with Christian Colon at shortstop instead of Alcides Escobar, you have Colon, who's very comfortable as a second baseman, and Mike Moustakas was a high school shortstop and played shortstop early in his minor league career. So you don't necessarily have guys out of position with this alignment.
No, he's got him right where he wants him. That man right there, he's in charge of the infielders, and they all go over what they're going to do, the scenarios. And he was a good infielder in his day as a player. In his second major league season.
3-2 on Santana.
Volquez using that good two-seam fastball. And you can see Santana, he really wanting to pull it. He pulled off of it. That ball moving away like that, that's going to happen.
A walk as he reached back for a little extra with that 3-2 pitch. And Santana walked for a league-leading 25th time this year. That's the third allowed by Volquez. And it means that Michael Brantley will bat with 1 on 1 out. Edison got him on a ground ball to third in the first inning. Just below the knees, ball one.
Brantley's the kind of hitter that's going to put the ball in play somewhere. He is the hardest batter in the American League to strike out. Just one every 29 times up. Volquez mixing up his pitches. He's not going with fastballs early in this game. Maybe this is their plan. Salvi's clapping his hands with his glove. He's saying, come on.
Into center field for a base hit. Santana will hold at second. Two on with one out.
Okay, he's doing what Salvi wanted him to do. Challenge him with the fastball, and Brantley, short, quick, compact swing, did what he wanted to do. Hit the ball right back where it came from. Now this guy here can hurt you. Brandon Moss got big time power. 5 home runs so far this year. And he aired one out last night too. Strong, compact, short swing.
Starts him off with a good changeup down and away.
Can entice him into hitting it into a little double play. He leads the Indians with 4 ground into double plays. That's what Volquez wants here.
And the Royals expect him to pull the ball with 3 infielders on the right side. He tried to pull that first pitch. And from a changeup to a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's 0-2.
And that's elevated by design. See how that ball just takes off? That's called a four-seamer. He's got his fingers on the 4 seams of the ball, and he lets it go, and the ball kind of rides. And at that velocity, it looks good to the hitter, but the best you can do is foul it off. I'll probably stay down low with a changeup. Oof, got away with one there.
Ball is carrying to center field, still carrying all the way to the warning track. Santana will tag and go to third. Brantley stays put at first. Boy, you're right.
I could tell on contact that I didn't think he had enough to hit it out of the ballpark at center field, but man, that's Volquez got away with a mistake. Changeup, not where he wanted it. Whew. Lorenzo Cain was able to track it down. 4-10, dead center field. He looked down, he knew where he was.
Lonnie Chisenhall with 2 down. Pickoff play at third, and Moustakas realized the throw was not on line, so he just stopped and kept the ball from going into left field.
Another part of the Royals defense that keeps the opponents always on their toes. They have a catcher that'll throw to any base, any pickoff attempt anywhere. You love that if you're an infielder. And pitchers do too, especially if you can get a quick out on the bases.
You know, that's a risky play. Well, it's always a risky play. Not as risky with Salvador Perez because he's so accurate. But watching that back again, for Mike Moustakas to get to third base on that play, he has to run a long way. He has to run hard, which it would be more difficult for him to be under control. Now he read right away it was not a great throw, so he stopped, but see, he had to reach back the other way, and it also gives the third base coach more time to respond to it.
And it also opens up a whole lane for a hitter to hit the ball. You have to guess on a pickoff play like that. If you're an infielder, you're giving up your ground to get the out.
He was running as the pitch was coming in. Yeah,
that's right. Sometimes you're going to take a calculated risk.
Brantley runs, and Chisenhall fouls it off of Salvador Perez.
But the main thing is that you have players like the Royals that aren't afraid to make mistakes. Managers love that. That gives you a freedom. Salvador don't love that as he took that off his left shoulder. Having the ability to play freely and not be afraid to make mistakes is one of the ways guys become all-stars, and just like Salvador Perez, Gold Glovers.
Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. Brantley runs again, and Sal will let him run. That is the 4th stolen base of the season for Michael Brantley, and puts 2 in scoring position for Chisenhall, who has the best swing so far today against Volquez. He tripled into right center field in the 2nd inning and came around to score the Indians' run.
Does not want to leave any more changeups up in the zone like he did to Moss.
He is a .244 hitter overall, but with runners in scoring position, that drops down to .182. Helped him out. Chisenhall chasing one well out of the strike zone, and that's probably the reason why there. Remember, we were talking last night about how well the Royals have done with runners in scoring position, and I asked Ned Yost, what are the Royals doing so well with runners in scoring position? And Ned's answer was, it's not what they are doing, it's what they are not doing, and that is they're not getting caught up in the situation. They're not changing their approach. They're staying consistent.
Sign of maturity. Big pitch coming here.
And now 3-2.
Reason that's a big pitch now. 3-2. Chisenhall, he's looking for the dead red fastball. Got another left-handed hitter coming up in Murphy. Doesn't mean he's going to get the fastball.
Four walks allowed by Edinson Volquez. Now he's going to hear from Dave Island before pitching to David Murphy.
And he's been laboring his way through this game so far.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of him, but you pointed this out in the start on Saturday against the Tigers, his tempo. And if his tempo is better today, it's just a little bit better today.
Yeah, it's not much. I've been getting him 25, sometimes 30 seconds in between pitches, which is way too long. What that does is it gives the hitter a little bit more time to think, and it puts your defense on their heels, even though the Royals don't know anything about being on their heels as good as they played defense. Pretty good hitter here in this situation.
Runners on with 2 walks and a single. And Murphy takes high and away, ball 1. We just showed you that Murphy has 2 grand slams in his career, the first of which was hit against the Royals. He hit that off of Jimmy Gobble. Remember that name?
I do.
Way out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike. That was back in 2008, right here at Kauffman Stadium.
Where that pitch finishes right there. That's exactly where he wants to leave that changeup. Down.
Two balls, 1 strike. In the first inning, the Indians had 0 base runners. In the second and third innings, they've had a total of 6 base runners. And now 3-1. And there's a little bit of frustration in Volquez's body language after that last pitch. He's kind of bending over in frustration and staring at the dirt after delivering that pitch.
And you know, when you do that, hitters see it. Murphy's saying right now, okay, he's a little frustrated. He's going to come with a fastball, and I'm going to jump on it. Hope he hits it at somebody.
It's another walk. So Volquez had not walked more than 3 in any of his first 5 starts, and today he has walked 5.
Well, his mechanics are all over the place. Dave Island's going to have to do some work with him. His front shoulder is really flying open. He's not taking the ball out of his glove right as his knee comes up over the rubber, and it seems to me like his weight is out in front and he's pulling off, and Dave Island sees all that.
Five walks in the game, 3 in this inning. And now strike to Michael Bourne. Bourne walked in the second inning with 2 down. That didn't turn into anything. Oh, 0-2.
Certainly don't want to give him anything too good. 0-2. But preferably down.
Good pitch down, but Bourne wouldn't go for it. And now 2-2. It's been a day so far where both pitchers have been in the giving spirit. The Indians have 7 base runners, 5 of those on walks. And the Royals, when they've been on offense, they have benefited from a hit batter, a walk, and 2 errors. Just a little bit high. Now another 3-ball count. 3-2.
Another off-speed pitch. If Bourne swings at that, he might hit a double down the line. The ball was elevated, not where Volquez wanted it. Almost better off just trying a 2-seam fastball. Let him put it in play. Cannot walk another run home.
Runners go, and ball 4 again. Wow. 6 walks, 3 in a row, 4 in this inning.
Volquez is definitely better than what he's showing here. He's not holding this lead at all against Corey Kluber, last year's Cy Young Award winner. He's letting him back into the game, shoulders flying open. And he's flinging it. He's just rearing back and throwing it instead of going straight downhill with his shoulder, with his stride foot. He's pulling off of it. Okay, here's what the hitter's seeing. See on that front shoulder is flying way open, and he's stepping towards the Royals dugout, and that just means that he's open and he's missing up and away with that fastball. He's just like a hitter. When he pulls his shoulder off, he's behind the pitch and he can't square it up either.
So each runner on the bases now has been on with a walk, 2 with bases loaded walks.
He's looking for deeper trouble.
Volquez's career high is 7 walks. Roberto Perez walked last inning. Fastball with some good movement. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Stayed right on top of that one. back from the windup now. See, he was throwing from the stretch before, so I think they said, hey, look, let's just get back in there and start pounding. Now with 2 strikes, he's been getting ahead of guys, but he's not finishing them off. He's got to go right after him here.
He was ahead of Bourne, 0-2.
Right. It's not. He hasn't been able to finish guys off. Pitch count way too high for this time of the game.
Well, Perez strikes out with the bases loaded, but this is a brand new game. The Indians with 1 run, or 2 runs rather, on 1 hit and 4 walks. O'Donnell, a member of the board of directors of First Call Alcohol and Drug Prevention and Recovery, and a member of the board of directors for 10 years. Hugh has most recently served as board chair. The mission of First Call is to reduce the impact of alcohol, drugs, and addiction by providing quality resources to individuals, families, and communities. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game, and was sweating out that Indians top of the 3rd inning as they took advantage of 4 walks and needed only 1 hit to score 2 and make it a 1-run game. First time Eric Hosmer was up with 1 swing of the bat, he gave the Royals a 4-run lead. 1 run had scored on an error, and then Hosmer hit a 3-run home run to straightaway center field. And now he's ahead in the count, 3-0. Let's go to Joel.
Well, it's interesting, Ryan, because here he is at 3-0. In his first at bat, he was 2-0 and hit a home run. Eric Hosmer is walking a lot this year, but he's also doing more damage. His walk rate has increased significantly from last year. 5th highest walk rate increase in baseball. He walked 6.4% of the time last year, up to 10.8% of the time this year. And in talking to him about it today, he said this is something that he and Dale Swaim started working on in the postseason, recognizing that other teams were seeing him as a free swinger. And in a 1-0-2-0 count, he was thinking fastball. They were throwing breaking balls. He's learned how to adjust, look to left center field, and that's really helped him. We saw him 2-0 in the last time up. It was a fastball, but he made the adjustment, was able to be aware of it, ended up hitting the home run. Interesting that he only has 1 walk in the last 8 games. They're not necessarily expecting him to chase anymore. They're throwing him more strikes, and he's doing the damage.
He is. Now in this situation, 3-2, Joel, here 50% of the time pitchers throw balls in this situation. So we'll see if Hosmer is all geared up to swing at it. There you go. Took it. Dale Swaim was telling me that a couple of weeks ago about how he did a little study and went back and studied all 3-2 counts last season. What happened? He said, heck, half the time they're balls.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Here's where Eric Hosmer ranks among first basemen in the American League. Most RBIs, second best batting average, and most doubles. Kendrys Morales flied out to left field in the first inning. Boy, that little guy's having a day he'll never forget. Sitting with mom at Kauffman Stadium with a big old bucket of popcorn. How much of that has he eaten? 1-1. Today is Kids Day at the K, and I imagine that the majority of the kids that were here today with schools have had to leave because of the rain delay. They need to get back to school so mom and dad can pick them up. Mike Thompson and the Fox 4 weather team for years has sponsored School Day at the K, a weekday afternoon game with weather demonstrations on the field, and then we had actual weather resulting in a 2-hour 17-minute rain delay before the first pitch. 2-2 on Morales. I hate it when something gets stuck on my tongue. Don't you?
That's right.
3-2.
Okay, I just timed Corey Kluber from when he came set and delivered home at 1.4 seconds. Anything over 1.35, Hosmer should be able to steal the base. He's got a couple of bags this year. 3-2, he might be going. Rusty Kuhn's first base coach is totally in charge of Ned Yost's running game. That's how good he is. The manager entrusts him, gives those guys the green light. He's looking at his watch. He's looking at the tendencies of the pitcher Kluber and giving those runners something to read.
Hosmer was not running.
There'll be a certain key that Rusty will pick out on the pitcher. Maybe it's his foot. Maybe it's his shoulder. It could be his head turn. There's always something Rusty picks up in film to help the Royals running game.
Hosmer is not running again, and that is pulled just foul.
Couldn't quite wait long enough to keep it fair. 3-2. Let's see if Kluber tries to get him to swing at a ball.
Hit well to center field. Bourne is back. He's got it. That ball just didn't have the same carry as Hosmer's in the first inning. It sounded good, but it's a long, loud out to straightaway center, one away.
Okay, when you're the first base runner and a guy hits a ball that far and you're running and you cross second base, on the way back to first, you got to make sure that you run back and you retouch the base. See, Hosmer touched it there. Now he's got to retouch it. Yep, that's proper. And the Indians bench is watching all that stuff. So if he did not touch it going back, they would have made the appeal.
We got a great example of that during the Detroit series. Anthony Gose thought he had touched up, but made a move toward third base after a slide, and we had a great shot of Rusty Kuntz seeing that in the first base dugout. So instead of watching what was going on with the play, Rusty was just keeping his eye on the runner, and the Royals got a double play out of it. 0-2 on Salvador Perez.
All of those players that are in the dugouts, they're not just sitting there watching, spectating. They're watching to see if they can see something, and all those eyes, lots of times all you got to do is alert the manager. Did you see that? And sometimes that gets you a call.
That's back into the crowd, still 0-2.
Kluber struck Salvador Perez out in his last time at bat. It was Salvi's first time of facing him in the game on a high fastball. He might try to do that again here. 0-2. Might try to climb the ladder on him.
One ball, 2 strikes. The Royals have done a number on Corey Kluber's pitch count. This will be his 60th. And there's only one down in the 3rd inning. Perez in the Royals on deck area and makes a play right before going into the screen.
Salvador is talking to this ball, saying get into the stands, and Perez is able to catch it before it hit off the screen.
So Hosmer with that leadoff walk is still standing at first with 2 down. And Omar Infante at the plate. Outside for ball 1. There's the 2-seam fastball in for a strike. He had back-to-back pitches there. A variation of his fastball. His first one breaking away from Infante, and then the second one breaking back into Infante. And then back to a slider to make it 1-2. Just got a shot of Edison Volquez sitting in the Royals dugout looking like he's getting ready to come out for the 4th inning. And he's ahead 4-3, but Franklin Morales has been warming up this entire inning and just standing out there as if he's ready to come into the game. Infante is down on strike, so the Royals get a leadoff walk, but Hosmer stays put at first base. And it will be Franklin Morales for the top of the 4th. 5-3 Royals, top of the 4th inning. Join us for a salute to the Negro Leagues brunch prior to the Royals game on Sunday, May 17th. And for just $25, the brunch voucher will get you access to an exclusive event complete with live jazz, a full brunch buffet, a custom pair of Monarchs and Royal socks, and a $5 donation is made to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Now keep in mind, your voucher does not grant you access to the game. Visit Royals.com/NLBM to reserve your spot today. So Ned Yost is going to need a lot of work from his bullpen for a second straight game, as Franklin Morales comes in the 4th inning.
That is not the outing that Volquez wanted or Ned Yost. Just couldn't find his command. Could not find the plate. 6 walks. Only 2 hits.
One shy of his career high for walks. And now Franklin Morales is hoping to redeem himself today. Remember last night the Royals were down quickly 5-0. That was at the end of 3.5 innings, but they got the game back to 5-3 and seemed to have the momentum. And then Franklin Morales, who was the 3rd reliever for Danny Duffy. Morales gave up 4 runs in the 7th inning, and Cleveland ended up pulling away. And a good start as he strikes out Jose Ramirez.
So lots of times a manager will give a guy another chance the very next day to let him go out there and say, all right, I'm going to put you right back up on the horse and I want you to stay on it. You have the quality stuff to do it. And he believes in Franklin Morales' good fastball, slider. He held his opponents to just 2 runs over his first 11 outings before last night's 4 runs by Cleveland. He's got good stuff. I mean, how many relievers did they use last night? 5 guys. I mean, you know, all of them were on, but sometimes you use that many relievers, there might be one guy that might be off, and that's the way Morales was.
Oh boy, that ball came up and got Kipnis on the side of the face. On the side of the helmet where there is no ear flap. Now in high school, college, or the minor leagues, that helmet would have ear flaps on both sides.
There's a few players in the majors that have the double ear flaps on there. It's not a bad idea. Especially when you're running the bases, you could get hit by a thrown ball.
Morales has back-to-back strikeouts to begin the 4th inning.
And Morales, he sees a win in his future. If he can just go 2 strong innings, he'll qualify if he can keep the lead. And he's hungry.
So he's the lefty out of the bullpen with the thought that he would come in and get lefties, but he's been much better against right-hand hitters. And he will get at least 2 hitters batting from the right side in this inning, as Ramirez and Santana are switch hitters.
Try that one on for size.
So Morales bounces back very nicely after giving up the 4 runs last night. 3 up, 3 down with a couple of strikeouts to the bottom of the 4th. The Royals lead by 1. brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at Search STIHL. Dyson drag bunt. Kluber's on it. He'll scoop with his glove, and did they get him? First base umpire Tony Randazzo says yes. And Carlos Santana may have been injured as his arm was hit by Gerard Dyson's helmet, putting some pressure on his left shoulder, and the Royals don't appear to want to challenge this close play.
Great idea, but he just has to get that ball on the line more. Looked like he hit his elbow, and sometimes that'll wrench the shoulder.
Oh boy, the ball went off of his helmet, so he had to reach over that way because it ricocheted off his helmet. The play was not as close on replay as it appeared at real speed from up here. I thought it was more bang bang than that.
And you know, that shoulder socket, man, that's a delicate socket, especially when you're at first base. We see a lot of injuries like that with guys when they're extending out to catch a ball and collide with the runner. We've seen guys to bust their wrists and their forearms and their elbows. Hopefully he's all right to stay in, and it looks like he's going to.
You know, he probably couldn't do it on a play like that one, but for that very reason, you'll notice that Eric Hosmer often will stretch into foul territory on throws that really aren't that bad. And I asked him about that, and he said he learned that in high school to avoid plays like that. So he's not reaching into the runner. Rather than reaching into the runner, he will stretch into foul ground and take it on a long bounce or avoid the collision.
Well, that's one of the reasons why Hosmer wears the gold. And Santana was a catcher coming up, and he's played some third base. Last year they put him over there at first, so he's just learning that position over there, really.
Two and 0 to Christian Colon. He had a sacrifice bunt in the second inning.
Great attempt by Gerard. Just has to get that ball down the line more.
Kipnis is out, and Kipnis will make the play. 2 down. Remember, Royals fans, the next time you're looking for great seats, get to StubHub, where there are no surprise fees at checkout. That's right. On StubHub, the price you see is the price you pay. Every ticket, every day. Plus, with the StubHub app, you can buy and sell Royals tickets anytime, anywhere, right from your smartphone. So get the StubHub app today and go Royals. That was either a good two-seam fastball or a power changeup at 86 miles an hour, but had Alex out in front just enough.
Kluber's doing a pretty good job of settling in after that rough first.
And now 0-2. Last night, Carlos Carrasco really gave Alex a bad time, struck him out 4 times. And now Kluber has gotten him 1 so far today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kluber gave up all 4 runs in the first inning. Two and 2. 1 run scoring when Brandon Moss bobbled Mike Moustakas single to right field. And in the next 3 scored on an Eric Hosmer 3-run home run. And Alex down looking this time. So Kluber has his first 1-2-3 inning. He has struck out 4 and has 3 straight scoreless innings. School so mom and dad can pick him up. DraftKings shows us players to watch. This was coming into games today. Corey Kluber in his career, not this year, but in his career, has been strong against the Royals. And he gave up 4 runs in the first inning. Mike Moustakas has great numbers against Kluber in his career. And he has been on base twice and scored a run. Paul Goldschmidt and Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez, good numbers against Chris Tillman of the Orioles. Go to DraftKings.com and play for free with promo code BRoyal. Michael Brantley will take inside. Franklin Morales allowed 4 runs in 1 inning last night, allowing the game to get away, and now called upon in the 4th inning today after Edison Volquez went 3 innings. And he was sharp in the 4th inning. Faced 3, retired 3 with a couple of strikeouts, and now he gets a ground ball to Infante to take care of Michael Brantley. Keep calm, Panther on.
Good idea.
Now Brandon Moss pulls it over to Hosmer. Hosmer points his glove to tell Morales he'll take it himself, and he does. And Morales has taken care of the first 5 batters he has faced. Well, we talked about this last night. We'll hope you'll join the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum for an historic trip to the Windy City and pay tribute to Ernie Banks when the Royals battle the Cubs at Wrigley Field. The 2-day trip includes tickets to the game on Sunday, May 31st, round-trip luxury bus transportation, a continental breakfast, hotel room, private dinner, commemorative Monarch shirt and cap, and more. We had Bob Kendrick on with us last night talking about this event. The registration deadline is tomorrow, so call 816-221-1920 to make sure you reserve your spot. It's been a long time since the Royals have been at Wrigley Field. Lonnie Chisenhall is on for a 3rd time, 2 for 2 with a walk, and that's the first base runner against Franklin Morales.
And we had a nice visit with the commissioner who was at the K today. He picked the perfect day to come with all the kids in the stands. It's one of the things he wants to do is bring more young people into our game. He was thrilled to see all of these young kids here.
David Murphy, who was the Indians' DH, has yet to have an at-bat against a left-hand pitcher this year, and that will stay the same as Nick Swisher will bat for Murphy. Swisher just back from the disabled list before the game on Tuesday. He had surgery on both knees last August. He is 1 for 9 in this series with a run scored. Yeah, the commissioner, and we discussed this with him. I don't remember a commissioner coming on and saying, look, these are my 5 top agendas. These are things that I, above anything else, want to accomplish as commissioner of baseball.
Oh, that's unbelievable. The ball hit the bag. Moose was somehow able to react to this. Great play.
Runs in the bottom of the first inning. Cleveland with 1 in the second, 2 in the third. Mike Moustakas has singled and scored, coming home on Eric Hosmer's first inning 3-run home run. He's also walked against Corey Kluber, who has walked 2 and struck out 4. And Mike Moustakas continues to pile up good numbers against one of the best pitchers in the American League. How many times do you see it happen? Player makes a good defensive play to end one inning and then leads off the next inning. I think it's like a 1 in 9 chance.
Well, it's happening here, and Moose saved Morales on that ball that Swisher hit. It landed, it hit the base, and Moose was able to somehow glove it. This is great hands here. Watch Moose's reaction. Rarely can you make a backhand play to your left, but he had to out of reaction. Beauty.
And now he pulls it through the right side for a leadoff single. So Moustakas was dealing with his first slump, if you want to call it that. He had just been 2 for his previous 19 coming into this game, but now he has 2 singles and a walk.
Yeah, he takes that little slider down out over the middle of the plate and just pulled it. Now very beginning of the season when the Royals played Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians had him played in the pull shift. But Moose promptly started getting base hits to left field, and that moved Francona's defense away from the pull shift to pretty much straight up. And that's how he was able to get that base hit.
It's the Royals' first hit since Hosmer's 3-run home run in the first. Strike to Lorenzo Cain. Cain singled in front of Hosmer's 3-run home run in the first inning. And good to see Luke Hochevar warming up at Kauffman Stadium, getting ready to make his first big league appearance since 2013. One ball, one strike.
Royals starting their third time through, facing Corey Kluber. I'll show you what he's done. First time through, second time through, third time through. Have a little more success against it.
Cain is down on strikes. That's 5 strikeouts for Kluber.
Got him with a good, hard running two-seam fastball.
Eric Hosmer digs in with Moustakas at first, one out. Hosmer hit a 3-run home run back in the first inning. Ball that looked like a jet taking off a runway. Pitch was down and he went down and got it, and I don't think that ball got any higher than about 20 feet off the ground. And just to the right of dead center field for a 3-run home run. And Hosmer already has 11 RBIs against Cleveland this year. He has 47 RBIs against Cleveland in his career, and that's the most for him against one team. Two and one. And
Yeah.
you can imagine, you can imagine the frustration for Kluber and the Indians is as good as Hosmer's been. You think, okay, look, we really got to keep the ball down to this guy. And Kluber got a pitch down right on the lower border of the strike zone, and Hosmer still hit a home run. Two and two.
Kluber going with a lot of breaking stuff on Hosmer.
Kluber steps off as catcher Perez was looking over into the Indians dugout.
Well, that's been part of the problem. Yan Gomes caught Corey Kluber every start last year. And Gomes has been out this year with a knee injury.
Backdoor breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kluber.
You know, Terry Francona said, and most battery mates will tell you, especially Kluber, will say, you know, he's very comfortable with Yan Gomes. This year he's having to throw mostly to Roberto Perez. And so there's a difference. I'm not making excuses for Kluber, but that's one of them. He used to throw in Yan.
pulled past Rusty Kuntz. 0-1 on Kendrys Morales. He has flied out twice, including a line drive to the warning track in center field in the 3rd inning. Ball didn't have quite the same liftoff as Hosmer's did in the 1st. Backhanded by Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ball looked like it almost hit Morales' left foot. We've seen him get hit like that this year.
That has picked up in the last 2 innings. The wind coming out of the south now and blowing out toward left. Morales hits it hard to right field. Brandon Moss cuts it off. Moustakas goes first to third. And Kendrys Morales has his first hit of the game.
Another 2-out hit by Morales. Got him a fastball right where he was looking. Moss, the right fielder, playing extremely deep. If he wasn't that far back, it might have been a double off it.
Mickey Callaway, the Indians pitching coach, is out, and at the same time they peel back the tarp in the right field bullpen, and so the Indians will get a reliever warmed up. And while they chat, we remind you that the Royals head to Detroit this weekend for another big series with the Tigers. They split a 4-game series here during this homestand. You'll see tomorrow's game right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Coverage beginning at 5:30 p.m. Saturday's game will be televised nationally on Fox Sports 1. That coverage begins at 11:30. Following the Royals game on Saturday, it's the Braves and Nationals also on Fox Sports 1. That coverage for both games again beginning at 11:30 on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1.
Kids coming alive here with Salvador Perez coming up with 2 outs. Right man in the right spot.
Kluber with a breaking ball for strike 1.
Salvi came into today's game hitting .423 with runners in scoring position. That's 6th best in the American League.
Base hit center field. So Perez and the Royals come through again with 2 outs. That is 60 RBIs with 2 outs to lead the major leagues. And the Royals have a 2-run lead.
Dangerous. Salvador Perez made outs his first 2 times up against Kluber with a runner at third base and 2 outs. He knows what to do. Stay short to the ball and try to just guide it right back up the middle. Biggest hole on the diamond. Clutch knock. Look at good balance. Gets himself going with his lower half, threw his hands right at it. Brings Moustakas in, who's singled. Pretty impressive.
The 1-1 to Omar Infante. Look at that. 526. That is considered the most clutch of situations. 2 outs with a runner in scoring position.
Yep.
And it was a nice, easy swing. Oh, and 2. Remember, it was just what we were talking about. And Ed Yost was saying, you know, it's not about what good hitters do with runners in scoring position. It's what they don't do. They don't muscle up. They don't get all caught up emotionally. And Sal looked like he just wanted to find something that he could hit hard up the middle. And he comes through again. Still 0-2 on Infante. Shallow left field. Michael Brantley is there to end the inning. Another 2-out RBI for the Royals and for Salvador Perez. And Luke Hochevar returns to Kauffman Stadium for the first time since 2013, and he'll take the mound with a 2-run lead. Rewind, September 29, 2013. Luke Hochevar pitching to Alejandro De Aza in Chicago, getting a strikeout, and that was the last time Luke Hochevar pitched for the Royals until today. He injured his elbow in spring training of last year, very early in spring training. Had the Tommy John ligament transplant surgery, which wiped out his 2014 season. He is the ultimate team player, so the timing was just awful for him because he really wanted to participate in the Royals postseason run and into the World Series. Participate he did, just not on the mound, as we welcome in Denny Matthews. And so this is a big deal, and Luke got a nice ovation when he was announced into the game, and really felt for him because he really seemed to find his niche right before he got injured.
Yeah, he sure did. And I did a long interview with him that we used on rain delays during spring training, and it really hurt him both physically and emotionally to miss that much time. And he's done a good job of bouncing back, and he really appreciates now what he had, and I think that goes through a lot of guys' minds when they miss a certain amount of time. So, well, I bet he's just happy as he can be to be back out there.
I remember just that empty feeling that I had in March of 2014 when we found out that he was going to have Tommy John surgery and done for the year, and he came out of the clubhouse in that little area behind the clubhouse in surprise and met with the media. 2-1 on Michael Bourne, and you know, he just stood there like a man. You know, it was very emotional, and he refused to feel sorry for himself. But what he kept talking about, that I'll always remember, he said, what bums me out the most, because he knew he'd come back eventually. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I won't be able to participate in the dog pile when we get back to the postseason. Well, as it turned out, he did participate in the dog pile, but that was just a very sad day.
Sure. And you go through all that rehab, and you come to the ballpark, and you go through the weights, and you do the bike and the treadmill. And the worst thing about that is that you are still a part of the team, but you're really not, because you're not on the field. And so you feel like you're in a little bit of a vacuum, and it's not a comfortable feeling.
In a very short period of time, and they're taking a little extra time here, as Salvador Perez has been nicked by a foul ball for about the 3rd or 4th time today. In a very short period of time, Luke went from a starter just trying to find his way and stay in the big leagues to an elite reliever. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. And then who would have thought that losing Luke Hochevar would have resulted in Wade Davis? I mean, that was a huge question mark for the Royals last year. Who was going to handle the 8th inning?
Yeah, and all that did was set up one of the best, if not the best, relief job in any one year of any pitcher.
Yes, Sal got hit again.
You know, you stop and think about Davis last year. That was almost perfect. He was almost perfect.
Right.
Man, is that hard to do on this level? Whew.
See where this one got him. Breaking ball. Oh, got off of his ankle. Sometimes there's just not enough padding.
No. And the ball's going to find the area where there isn't much or any. Amazing how the baseball does that. How does it know? How does the baseball know where there's no padding?
It's really not good.
And Sal is as savvy as anybody. So he found a way to walk off that foul ball off of his ankle to go to the mound, and then he stood up and had a couple words for Hochevar discussing the 2-2 pitch coming up.
And went hobbling back to his spot.
Seeing, don't throw that one again.
No, in that spot.
Struck him out. And for Luke Hochevar, that is his 614th major league strikeout, but I would think one of the biggest of his major league career.
And with that strikeout, he now feels like he's back as a member of the team.
He'll feel even better if they can get through this with a win, capture the series. You gotta like how the Royals management treated him this spring. They babied him. They coddled him. They said, you know, we're not going to bring him back until he can go back-to-back innings. We're totally comfortable. His velocity's back. And this is exactly what they did.
And that allowed him to relax and get back at his own pace.
Wow. Hard curveball that just came in out of the clouds. 0-2 on Roberto Perez.
That's a beauty there.
When I talked to Luke in spring training on our little interview, he said that I asked him about his early days, and he was talking about the first time he ever had on a baseball uniform. Look at that.
Ooh, that's a beauty.
Luke said, I was 6 years old. I had on a uniform for the first time, my first game of Little League Baseball, and I was out in left field. And he said, I had a big glove. I wasn't very big. He said I was really skinny. He said he had a glove that weighed more than he did, and he'd put it down to the side, and the fingers of the glove would be on the ground. He said, that's how big that glove was. He said, man, I was in a uniform in a game. That was, he said, it's something I'll never forget. I said, how'd you do in the game? Well, I didn't get any fly balls or any action out in left field, but I did strike out twice. And so it started.
.95 miles an hour inside, and 2-0 on Jose Ramirez. 2 seasons ago, Luke Hochevar made 58 appearances, all in relief, and had a 1.92 ERA. The league hit 169 against Hochevar. 2-1.
Yeah, you know, that guy right there, he's saying, wow, just what the Royals need. This guy to come back.
On the ground to Hosmer. Luke Hochevar is back.
He's got to make him feel great.
To foul pole as he comes back, makes his first appearance since 2013 and gets the Indians in order with a couple of strikeouts. So the Royals take their 2-run lead into the bottom of the 6th. Corey Kluber moving up on 100 pitches. He is now at 98. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Matt Campbell from Independence, Missouri. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Matt wins $700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Matt wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. It'll be Gerard Dyson, Christian Colon, and Alex Gordon. Pitch number 100 is hit to right field. Brandon Moss comes up and makes the play. Well, Denny, you had the opportunity on radio, and we did over here during the rain delay, to have a nice chat with Rob Manfred, the new commissioner of baseball. You've been around for many commissioners. You've known some of them well personally. What are your first impressions of Mr. Manfred?
Well, I wasn't real pleased to hear that he grew up a Yankee fan. That started us off on the right foot. But impressive. Similar in a lot of ways, I think, although we don't know him that well yet, but to Bud Selig. I think he has a very deep love for the game, a great appreciation of the history, and so yeah, I think he'll be just fine. I think Bud was probably a very good influence on him, and some of the things that he's incorporated already, I think, are beginning to pay dividends, and we'll see how that eventuates. But yeah, I was pleased to meet him and had a nice chat.
How about you, Hud?
I'm impressed with how he loves young players and young people, and that was one of his first initiatives, was to grow the game to our youth, expand the programs in inner cities, and continuing to move that direction. Also like how he wants to expand the game. You know, he's talking about Mexico and maybe back up in Montreal again. I mean, he really has a heart for the game, especially the young players who play it.
You know, one of the things he said was, and it hit me immediately, when I was a kid, and I said, when we were kids and we were thinking along the same lines, you got out and played baseball, and it wasn't a formal deal.
Alex Gordon on for the second time today. He is 1 for 3.
By that I mean things weren't really well organized. You would we used to say, get up a game. You'd get a few kids in the neighborhood and go out and play a game. Maybe you had 7 guys. You would play workup. You'd make up your own game, your own rules, your own umpire. I think that's going to do it for Kluber. And yeah, Hud, you're right. He's very, very intent and focused on getting the game in the hands of really young kids, and that's a key.
Mark Zepchinski with Mike Moustakas coming up will take over for the Indians. Reminding him of the move of Mark Zepchinski. And don't forget about covering the bases with Rusty Kuntz. He'll be joined by Royals current players, former players, and coaching staffs, members of the coaching staff out at the Little K. And you have an opportunity to register kids ages 9 to 14. Register your team to be selected to come out and have a covering the bases coaching session with Rusty Kuntz, and we are going to announce the next team tomorrow night during our broadcast in Detroit, and that date is May the 20th. May the 20th. So make sure you register.
Darn it, Ryan, I wrote Zepchinski's name down on my score sheet and spelled it wrong.
Yeah, you're probably the first person ever.
And Denny, have you ever made a mistake? That's another base hit.
That's a 3-hit game for Mike Moustakas. Alex Gordon will go first to third, and Mike Moustakas has been on base 4 times today.
Mark Zepchinski was a sophomore in college before he could spell his name correctly.
His own name.
Yeah.
Beautiful swing, Moose.
Well, his outing, I don't think, was as long as his name.
No, it wasn't. Terry Francona's back out with Lorenzo Cain coming up. That is the 4th 3-hit game for Mike Moustakas this year. The Royals trying to add on. Brian Shaw comes out of the Indians bullpen. Moustakas has a 3-hit game.
Let's take a look at Moose, what he's doing right. He's very comfortable with his lower half. Okay, good position. His hips are going to cock back, and so are his hands. He's going to load, but watch his head position. The head position is key here. On contact, he bows to the baseball with his head. See that? That's a Charlie Lau theory. Make some contact out in front, but Charlie Lau, Denny used to say, bow to the baseball with your head. Keep it right down on it.
You bet. Don't let your head fly out, because then you lose sight of the ball. And I wonder how many times, and George Brett worked with Moustakas, and obviously Charlie worked with George. And I don't know how many times Charlie would tell George, bow your head to the baseball. Just follow it all the way in. I wonder how many times Brett said that to Moustakas over the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, you know, it didn't happen right away like Moose wanted, but it did with persistence, perseverance, practicing, working on it, and now look at him. He's a mature hitter.
Wonderful example of that, bowing your head to the baseball, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Brian Shaw to face Lorenzo Cain. And Terry Francona has another lefty up in the bullpen. So if Shaw doesn't get Cain, we might have another pitching change with Eric Hosmer coming up.
Well, we know Terry Francona likes to mix and match with his bullpen. Brian Shaw, he's a guy who's got a lot of movement. He'll go 90 to 96 with his cut fastballs. He's got a slider and a changeup he'll use as well.
Moustakas runs. That's the second time that Mike Moustakas has taken off running with Lorenzo Cain at the plate and 2 down. Did that back in the 2nd inning. In fact, it was 1st and 3rd 2 down in the 2nd inning when Moustakas was running and Cain grounded back to the mound.
See how he's getting his tips from Rusty Kuntz.
This time Moustakas started to run and stopped, and it's 2-2 on Cain.
You know, Rusty's tips are always very positive. He makes the guy feel whatever Rusty says. Now as a player, you feel like, yeah, I can do that. It's just, he is such a positive guy. That spills over to the players.
In a sport with all the negativity.
Moustakas runs again, and Cain hits it behind Rusty. Still 2-2. Every coaching staff needs to have at least one Rusty Kuntz. Right? You need one guy who's happy every day, who's optimistic every day, who has the type of personality when the season is long and the team's not playing well and individuals aren't playing well, that's just upbeat. Let's get out there and work, and let's get better today.
On the rare occasion where he will correct a player or give him a suggestion, maybe a player didn't think a play through or maybe did something mechanically wrong, because he is of that mindset and so positive and so optimistic. As a player, you hear that, you think, oh my gosh, I better correct that in a hurry.
Renzo had to reload, get him another piece of lumber.
Now 3-2. Moustakas not running on that pitch, but he will be on this one. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Is it possible that the Royals could pick up another 2-out RBI?
I do think it's possible.
They've been so good at that.
Back to Shaw. And that'll do it. So the Royals strand 2. And we head to the 7th inning. 5-3 KC. Baseball is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. By Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball with the official partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code BROYAL for free entry. Well, hi, back to you. Now that's a good sign, because on one side he's saying hi to HUD, and on the other side he's either saying hi to me, or maybe he's saying hi to Ryan Madson, which we all like saying hi to Ryan Madson the way he's been pitching.
Well, I got to believe that he's a fan of yours, Ryan, and he has every right to be a fan. But Ryan Madson, you know that with Hochevar back, he's able to slot him in that spot. But I was talking earlier about how Denny, you said that you'd never have, or you made a mistake and you misspelled Zepchinski. But I wanted to give the fans a chance to see how immaculate your scorecard is. Would you please show them your card? Okay, put it up close where they can see how it's immaculate. It's impeccable. There's not one scratch mark on it. I mean, how long did it take you to write that neat into
second grade? Yeah.
Has anyone in 47 years broadcasting Royals baseball, has anyone been more impressed with your scorecard than Rex?
No.
No.
You were somewhat, but not like that.
Yeah. It is impressive. I mean, it does look like it was typed, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, yours is neat.
Now, Rex's looks typed because it is typed.
Let me see. You got a lot of colors in yours.
Well, I do little colors, but I'll show you that one there. Look at all the mistakes I've made. Scribble marks, scratching. I mean, you know, nothing like yours, Denny. Look, I think it's impressive. Somebody in your 47 years of big league ball have mastered keeping score.
Yeah, but yours is color coded. That's impressive.
Well, I need that because I need a lot of help in a lot of areas. I got to be highlighted there.
Never did I dream that a baseball scorecard would become a conversation piece.
Immaculate.
Well,
immaculate.
Does that word work there?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is impressive. It is impressive. And he does his scorecard in pen, which leaves you very little room for error.
None.
Speaking of immaculate, I got an alert on my phone that Mike Fears, pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, did I read that he had an immaculate inning today? You know the definition of an immaculate inning?
Denny might know that.
Well, it's either 9 pitches and 3 strikeouts, or 3 pitches and 1, 2, 3 and gone.
It was the former of the two. Kipnis is thrown out by Christian Colon. That would be, 3 batters, 3 strikeouts on 9 pitches. It wasn't quite immaculate, but what a great day for Luke Hochevar and the Royals. Our sprint cuts of the game, and good to see opposing hitters having about the same cuts against Hochevar as they did 2 seasons ago.
I'll bet to him it was as close to immaculate as you can get.
Ball to Carlos Santana, 0 for 2 with a walk, his league leading 25th, and a run scored.
You know what, guys, with all that's happened since opening day, that one inning pitched by Hochevar was really one of the highlights.
Sure was.
I mean, for me, didn't last that long, but gosh, what an impact. It's a pretty nice moment.
You know, every player, if they're smart, they will talk team first and their individual accomplishments second. But not all of them, and I'm not just picking on players. I mean, it's the same for broadcasters, it's the same for teachers, it's the same for policemen and lawyers and whatever. That sometimes it's just the right thing to say. And then there are players in every field where it is sincere. It is genuine that winning is more important than any individual accomplishment. And Luke Hochevar is one of those guys, and as heartbroken as we were when he missed last year, to see him cheer on his teammates last year, not being a part of it, proved the point. Carlos Santana has homered to center field off of Ryan Madsen, and that makes it a 5-4 game. Just the second home run allowed by Madsen this year. It is the 4th home run hit by Carlos Santana this year.
You know, you could just tell by the sound. I was looking down at my scorecard and I heard that and I went, uh-oh. And then I could hear the moan of the crowd.
Yep.
The sounds of baseball.
When you square one up, you hardly can feel the ball coming off the bat. If you get hit in on the hands and you hit one off the handle or you hit one off the end of the bat, you really know that you've made contact. But when you square it up like that, it's just so pure, it just jumps off the bat and you don't even feel it.
Hosmer felt the same thing in the first inning of today's game.
And it sounded the same.
But that's a ball that should not go out of the ballpark that Hosmer hit. I mean, the trajectory of that ball was like a line drive to center field, and I mean, it just took off like an F-16. Grounded to Hosmer, who goes down to a knee. He'll take it himself. 2 down. Michael Brantley is 1 for 4. Thing barely got off the ground.
Took about 3 seconds to leave the yard.
Same sound.
Brandon Moss with 2 down. Changeup disappears on Moss. 0-1.
Denny, I had a chance to talk to Moss yesterday about his experience, and then I asked him. Of course, he wasn't happy they lost the game, obviously, but I said,
Wild card game.
Yeah, what about the Royals? He said they had this reputation of being a speedy, pesky team, and we all knew that. But speedy and pesky teams don't climb the mountain and go to the World Series. He said the fact that the Royals started sprinkling in some power made them a bona fide team with their pitching and their bullpen. He said that made the Royals complete when the power showed up.
I believe it, and I'm sure in his mind, and playing for the A's last year and now seeing Cleveland, their defense, everybody in the Cleveland dugout has to think, man, do those guys play great defense? And they didn't. So I bet it's even more impactful to them when you see plays being made. A couple of plays in the first inning, ground balls. Kipnis dove for one, just got the tip of his glove on it. Santana, same thing, dove, just barely missed it. And I'm thinking the Royals probably would make that play. And it's just the difference between a 4-run first inning. 2 balls that just barely got through the infield. And then Hosmer unloaded the home run.
He also talked about that game and how John Lester, had some success against the Royals, and that he could tell, though, the Royals offense, they had really good at bats. They were aggressive. They were making contact. He could tell that the Royals offense was making adjustments against Lester in that game. And he said it made him a little bit nervous. He felt like the Royals had a chance to get to John Lester by their at bats they put together. And that's a 1-game do or die situation, a wild card game. It's unbelievable. Baseball's not meant to be decided in 1 game, but it is.
Another changeup that strikes out Moss. The Indians draw to within a run with the Santana home run. Thank you, Denny.
You are welcome.
Panera takes us around the league, and we have some action that's in the books. Twins keep on winning. Detroit beats the White Sox. Houston and LA later, and the Cardinals, best record in the majors right now. They take it 5-1. Mazda game break. We head to the south side of Chicago, and the Detroit Tigers get enough offense and a nice pitching performance from Kyle Lobstein. And how about this, guys? Joakim Soria closes it out. Last night, they gave it up in the 8th inning, Jabba Chamberlain, so they didn't even mess with that today. A 4-out save for Joakim Soria, his first 4 or more out save since 2010. And Ryan, as we see the new pitcher, Nick Hagedorn, I want to mention the 3rd crew birthday of the week. We had Sammy and I the other day. How about the director, Steve Kurtenbach, with the big birthday today? We can't forget about Steve. Come on.
I hadn't heard that. Happy birthday, Steve. How old are you today?
29.
He says he's old. Eric Hosmer greets the lefty Nick Hagedorn with a base hit to right field. And Hagedorn became the 4th Indians pitcher against the last 4 Royals hitters. That's Terry Francona bullpen use.
Hosmer, watch the front foot. Watch him how he just picks it up and sets it down. He's not overstriding this year, and that's been a big reason why he's been so good. He's able to keep his weight back, keeps everything back, and he comes through there and just puts some good wood and found the hole.
Almost down to a knee with that swing.
Yeah, amazing. Morales, he had a rip on that one. There you go. She just had a cutout of the same shot we showed you. Hosmer in stride. There it is.
And that's a base hit into center field. The Royals have done it so often this year. Right after the opponent scores, they come right back. And they have 2 on, nobody out. Morales has a 2-hit game.
Hagedorn fortunate that he just hit a single. The previous pitch, Morales just missed hitting that out of the park.
Scott fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game here at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Be Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to Kauffman Stadium. The first stop is Topeka on May 16th. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information. Scott Atchison in to face Salvador Perez with Hosmer at second base, Morales at first, and Sal showing bunt with the infield back. So this is 5 pitchers for Terry Francona against the last 6 hitters.
Yep, he likes to mix and match. Not a bad idea by Salvador Perez there either. You know, there's nobody out. Some insurance runs are extremely important, especially against the Tribe.
Wow. Base hit left field. Hosmer to third. He'll be held as Brantley gets it back to the infield quickly. Salvador Perez has a 2-hit game. The Royals have 11 hits, and they have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Salvador Perez did exactly what he did his last at bat. He just shortened up his swing and he went to left field. That wasn't his power swing. It's just I'm going to make some contact on you and just keep the line moving.
We were talking earlier about Commissioner Rob Manfred being in Kansas City. I am assuming that he has left Kauffman Stadium. However, of his 5 agendas, top 5 agendas, one of them was increasing the pace of play. I don't think he'd be happy with the pace of the Cleveland Indians past 2 innings. That's one, and I know it's been a part of the game forever, but that's one element that I wonder if it couldn't be cut out. Trips to the mound by the pitching coach, by an infielder who just jogs in from second base to slow the game down, or a catcher making multiple trips to the mound. It's the only sport where one player on the field gets an individual visit with no penalty. Down and away, ball 1.
Well, I'm sure that those type of things could be looked into as the game continues to evolve.
2-0 on Infante.
Atchison 89-93 with his cut fastball, curveball, and changeup.
Two and 1.
Francona's infield, they're definitely playing for the force out at home. Can't afford this late in the game to give the Royals any more runs. Royals getting the job done with runners in scoring position so far.
2 and 2. Infante is 2 out of 9 against Atchison. Breaking ball stayed up. Hosmer scores. Morales scores. Perez goes to third. It's a 2-run double for Omar Infante. And the Royals lead 7-4.
Still nobody out. Royals like to score their runs late off of bullpens. In this pitch here, Atchison will tell you that was a mistake. It just hung up there. Infante said, "Thank you. I'll pull it." And we get another pitching change. Francona wearing a path from that dugout to the mound.
It's everyone gets to play day for the Indians. Alex Morton leads the U.S. women's national team against the best teams in the world in search of their third World Cup championship. The only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox and Fox Sports 1 beginning in 30 days. Cody Allen is the 5th Indians reliever. The 4 previous relievers have chipped in for 1 out. That's not a good ratio.
Well, maybe that's why Terry Francona keeps going out and finding the guy that can get it done.
Omar Infante with a 2-run double. Second and third for Gerard Dyson facing Cody Allen. Yeah, that's the other side of our discussion that we had with Jeff Montgomery last night. We were talking about how, you know, when you have a game where you just continue to run out relievers, there is a good chance you're going to run into a guy who doesn't have it today. But today is the reverse for Terry Francona. He's going to keep running guys out there until he finds someone who does have it. 2-1 to Dyson.
Facing a guy in Cody Allen, 90 to 95 with that fastball. Power curve. Dyson can look for more fastballs.
Strike over the inside. Cody Allen is the Indians' closer. He has 4 saves, but his ERA is 10. So kind of a desperate move here. Could you imagine the Royals bringing in Greg Holland in the bottom of the 7th inning?
Nope.
Strike 3 called. Dyson is down, 1 away. Cody Allen has allowed an opponent's batting average of .375.
That's why. I would imagine if Greg Holland had those numbers, we could see that here, but Holland's been really good.
Colono for 2 at that sac bunt back in the 2nd inning. 0-2. Good combination of sliders there. A slider that started off as a ball. Colon gave up on it, and it turned into a strike, and then a slider that started as a strike and turned into a ball. First 4 reached in the inning. Hosmer singled, Morales singled, Perez singled, Infante hit the 2-run double. The Royals have Perez at third, Infante at second base with 1 out. A little bit outside, a fastball at 96. Bounces away from Perez, but not far enough for anyone to advance. 2-2.
Colon said, you know, I've seen that before. I'm not going to swing at it. I'm going to wait for that fastball.
Three and two. Alex Gordon's on deck. Corey Kluber went 5 2/3 innings. Royals scored 5 against him, and since then Zepchinski came on, did not record an out. Shaw got 1 out. Hagedorn and Atchison both have appeared without recording an out, and Allen has come on to get 1 out. Still 3 and 2. That away. That's how you do it. Maybe you heard the boos first as a fan on the club level dropped a ball and it dropped down below, and that gentleman got it right in his right hand and passed it on to that young Royals fan who will keep that baseball for the rest of his life. And now Colon takes a walk to load the bases again.
All right, Francona, Brad Mills, all of his coaches, they're all making sure those infielders understand that even with 1 out, they're not playing for 2. They're trying to keep that run from scoring.
Alex was hit by a pitch and scored in the first inning when the Royals scored 4 runs. And then he singled in the 6th. And Cody Allen has never gotten Alex Gordon out. And we're not talking about a large sample size, but how about 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and a walk. So he's faced him 4 times, Allen has, and the next time he gets him out will be the first time he gets him out.
Believe me, Cody Allen knows that.
Generous call, maybe. Alex shakes his head. That's about as much of a protest you're going to see from Alex on a pitch he doesn't like. Brantley charging in. He's there. So Allen gets him out for the first time. And now the base is loaded with 2 down. Last year, the Indians signed John Axford to be their closer. And the plan was to just kind of ease Cody Allen into the closer's role. But by mid-May, Cody Allen had taken over as the Indians closer as John Axford struggled, and he converted 17 of his first 18 save opportunities, and he's been the closer ever since.
That got him the job.
A little bit inside, ball one. 3-hit game for Mike Moustakas. He's been on base 4 times. And in a small sample size against Cody Allen, he has 2 hits and a walk in 5 plate appearances. Two and 0. Cody Allen does have 2 wild pitches. And last year he only had 4 wild pitches. Royals the best in Major League Baseball, hitting with runners in scoring position with 2 outs. 2 balls, 1 strike. Mike Moustakas swung at that pitch like he was looking for something up, and he got it.
He wanted to hit that to Hosmer's hydration station. That's the fountains here at the K. Only ballpark in America like it.
Didn't mean to do it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals have the highest batting average with 2 outs in the major leagues, the highest batting average with runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and they have the most 2-out RBIs in the major leagues, 60 after getting another one back in the 5th inning.
Allen might come back with another one of those, see if he can get the same result.
Shallow right. Moss is there, and that's the inning. So the Royals do get 2. It could have been a bigger inning than that, but now we're into the 8th inning with Wade Davis coming in, and the Royals have a 3-run lead. That for a pitching matchup tomorrow in Detroit. Yordano Ventura against David Price. And remember, Price had that complete game victory on Saturday. Didn't allow run till Lorenzo Cain's home run in the 9th inning. That's how we'll start the Royals and Tigers tomorrow. Coverage beginning at 5:30. Here's Wade Davis in the top of the 8th inning. Detroit has won. They beat Chicago in Chicago earlier today. So at the moment, the Royals and Tigers are tied for first place. If the Royals can hang on, they will take a half-game lead into Detroit. Chisenhall gets jammed, and it's an easy play for Cologne. First time that Chisenhall has not reached today. One down.
That Wade Davis has a way to get in on the hands of left-handed bats with that hard cutter. Around 93 to 95, he'll go with that one, and he'll top out at 97 with his four-seamer. Got a beautiful overhand curveball he'll show hitters.
Nick Swisher as a pinch hitter. Grounded out to third in the 5th inning.
Moose robbed him. Ball hit off the top of the base, and Moose somehow reacted and caught it and threw him out.
Remember, MLB.Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. You can watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in HD with highlights, live look-ins, and pitch tracking every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Grounded to Hosmer. He'll go to the bag to take care of Swisher. 2 down in the 8th inning. Wade Davis saved game 1 of this series. Royals won that game 5-3. And Wade Davis is 6 for 6 in save opportunities. But Greg Holland is back from the disabled list. And Holland's already out there right now, loosening up his right arm and ready to get his first save since coming back. Holland has 4 saves against Davis's 6.
The Royals have to go 6 days without Kelvin Herrera.
Beginning today.
Okay, today the clock's running. 6 days from now, they'll have Hochevar, Herrera, Davis, and Holland.
And Madsen.
All at the back end of their bullpen. What a thought.
Three and one to Michael Bourne.
All those guys that we mentioned could close for another team.
Challenge him with a fastball on 3-1. And Davis won't be able to say this very often, but he beat Michael Bourne in a race to first base.
Well, can't say this. Waiter.
here that when little brother crashed out, it's been a long day. That older brother, just by the look on his face and how he's attacking that ice cream, is that he got little brother's ice cream. You know, he just kind of waited in the weeds, waited till he crashed out. Hey, Dad, can I have his ice cream since he fell asleep?
Oh, where'd it
He
go?
is in heaven.
Long
This is
day.
Ryan Webb on the mound for the Indians. Fouled away by Lorenzo Cain. Oh, now he's somebody must have communicated with him, because Ryan Madsen was coming into the game, and hey, well, that's what I wanted when Madsen comes in. I'm like, hey, hi, Ryan.
That's a great adjustment there on the sign, and he spelled the name right.
Yes. Impressed by that. And Webb makes a good play, scooping to get Lorenzo Cain. Royals hit the road after the game tonight. We go to Detroit. Tomorrow night's game is on Fox Sports Kansas City. Remember, on Saturday and Sunday, actually, will be on national TV. Saturday, coverage beginning at 11:30. The Royals will be on Fox Sports 1. That's a doubleheader, followed by the Braves and the Nationals. And then on Sunday night, the Royals will be on ESPN. Santana backhands. Webb to the bag. 2 down. Ryan Webb is the 7th Indians pitcher today. Royals have made some adjustments against Corey Kluber. Kluber, in winning the Cy Young last year, made 4 starts against the Royals, and his ERA was just barely over 1. So he didn't have to convince the Royals that Corey Kluber was Cy Young worthy. But this year, and Kluber hasn't hit his stride yet, but this year the Royals have faced Kluber twice. He has pitched 12 innings, and the Royals have scored 11 runs on 17 hits.
They'll take it any day.
Kendrys Morales has 2 hits today and a run scored.
And if Holland can shut this game down, that would be Cleveland losing all 7 of Kluber's starts this year. It's a tough one to take. If you'd have told Francona that at the end of last season, he would have said, what? He's going to start the season like that? We're in trouble.
Morales walks on 4 straight pitches. Attaboy. Just like in baseball, if somebody falls asleep, you got to take advantage of that opportunity. And if they fall asleep on defense, or a hitter's not thinking, you got to jump all over it. And the same applies to sibling ice cream.
Good to the last spoonful.
That must be a bucket of ice cream, because he's taken about 27 scoops out of that thing. One and one on Salvador Perez. He has 2 hits today and yet another RBI with 2 outs. The Royals lead the major leagues with 60 RBIs with 2 outs. Salvador Perez is their best hitter with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. And he has 12 of those 60 RBIs. He is a very good situational hitter. He's a good hitter altogether, but you know, he's not just the Royals' best hitter with runners in scoring position. He's also the Royals' best hitter leading off an inning, knowing exactly what the team needs in a particular situation. And here he hits a ground ball out to Ramirez to end the inning. Well, we've had the return of Luke Hochevar tonight, Lorenzo Cain last night, and now Greg Holland for the first time since April 17th. Presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Rex Hudler and Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium, where the Royals against the Tigers and the Indians have attracted 234,000 fans, an average of 33,471.
If I heard the commissioner exactly right, I heard him say this is a model that we want to distribute to all of baseball. Kansas City and what they're doing here. Something like that.
Ryan Rayburn is going to lead off against Greg Holland. Back from the disabled list, he was 4 for 4 in save opportunities. He has a 0 ERA, so it was somewhat out of the blue when the Royals placed him on the disabled list. And it's a rare injury for a pitcher. It's not one you often hear about. It wasn't his shoulder, it wasn't his elbow, it was his right pectoral, his right chest muscle. Dyson comes up into shallow right field and makes a play. Jose Ramirez with one out. He is 0 for 3 today. Now to Omar Infante. 2 down in the 9th inning. And Holland is not only perfect this year, but if you go back to the end of July, he has converted 24 consecutive save opportunities. An enduring crowd today, a game that was supposed to start at 1:10, and here we are 5.5 hours later. And a good portion of the crowd that was here at 110 is still here now.
Yep, great job, fans, for coming out supporting this team during this homestand, and look forward to coming back to some more blue in the stands. Way to go.
And Kipnis into left center field, and Lorenzo Cain runs it down to end the game and end another winning series for the Royals. So welcome back Lou Kochaver, welcome back Greg Holland, and another ho-hum KCW.
What a feel-good win for the Royals. Getting a couple of their guys back, getting healthier. Ned Yost passing hugs around as they head to the Motor City. Taking another series here. It's a beautiful thing. Slugger proudly displaying the flag. You gotta love what you saw today, especially with the offense. They were able to score some early runs off of last year's Cy Young Award winner Corey Kluber. Thank you. Salute KC. Thank you.
The Royals have now played 9 series, and they have won 6. They have won 3 consecutive series against the Indians. And on the flip side, the Indians have now lost 5 straight series. Let's go down to the field, and here's Joel.
Okay, Ryan, thank you very much. Greg Holland is officially back, coming in and closing it out in the 9th inning. Just want to ask you about this bullpen. I know they were throwing out a lot of pitchers, but every guy that you came out for a long day able to get the job done.
Yeah, and that's what we predicate ourselves on and pride ourselves on, is getting big outs in big situations and picking up our starter the day they don't have their best stuff. And he kept us in a ball game, and our bullpen did the rest.
I need to ask you about the return of Lou Kochaver and how special that was. Sorry, Hammer. Anyway, I had to bolt pretty quickly. We got a flight. Didn't want to get the suit wet. Okay, so the return of Lou Kochaver, one of the big-time leaders of that bullpen. How special was it to watch him out there?
Very special, especially if you know him as a person, know how hard he works. And he's a big part of this team, and it just added depth, makes us that much better. And he went out there and threw a 1-2-3 inning, looked very sharp, and we're excited to have him.
You know, in the past, people have talked about HDH, Herrera, Davis, and Holland. Now you add into the mix Kochaver, Madsen, Fraser. How good is this bullpen?
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, last thing. You came back from the DL yesterday, but you've been here all series. I think, what's the number? Like 244,000 fans in attendance here for this homestand. What do you make of that?
Unbelievable. Keep coming out and supporting us. You help us play good baseball, and we enjoy playing for you guys.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All-star closer Greg Holland. Just add him back to the list of riches for that bullpen. Coming up on Boulevard Royals Live, we'll talk about the Royals getting hits from all over the lineup. Short day for Edinson Volquez, but the bullpen takes care of business, and we'll get you ready for a big series against the Tigers. Ryan?
Joel, thank you. And, well, you can give Holland a little grace. He's been out of practice for a while and forgot that was coming, but he'll take it.